Hi, I'm Michael from Reclaim Design, and today we're going to walk you through the process of making an end grain cutting board. And as it's Christmas, or nearly Christmas, it makes an ideal gift. So let's go. So we're going to start with a bit of background. There's three types of cutting board. Base grain, edge grain, and end grain. As you can see, it depends on how you join the wood. Base grain is the easiest to do, but it's the least durable. Edge grain is marginally less easy to do, a little bit more durable, and end grain is the hardest to do and very durable. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So in this job, I'm going to be using white oak offcuts from a previous job. If you'd like to see what that previous job was, you can have a look at our video, Making Mistakes, Shoe Rack and a Cabinet. I'll put a link in the description. So white oak is water resistant and rot resistant due to something called tyloses. Now red oak doesn't have these tyloses, so it's not suitable for making a cutting board. So if you have red oak, I wouldn't suggest it for this project, but white oak, I'm using Titebond II glue because it's water resistant and food safe, FDA approved. Titebond III, which is popular amongst many other woodworkers, is waterproof, but it's a lot more expensive. And as you shouldn't be soaking your cutting boards ever, it's not really necessary. Both Titebond II and III are rated for exterior use, so you're not going to have a problem using either. So, Titebond II. So I've got my offcut strips here. They're an arbitrary size because they're from a previous job, as I mentioned, but for those who are interested, 3 centimeters, 2.5 centimeters by 82 centimeters. But really, I mean, they can be anything you like. It's up to you. In this step, we're going to glue the edge grain together, like that, and make one big block. So it's important for me to make sure that the total width of the board in this section doesn't exceed my planer capacity. More on that later. It's a good idea to put down paper before you do a glue up. Makes the cleanup a lot easier for you. You can make yourself a couple of stands like this. It's just some scrap wood, PVC. The PVC pipe prevents the glue from sticking, and the curved surface minimises the surface area that's in contact with the glue up, so it just makes things a lot easier. Works really well and really easy to do. So we've got the offcuts up on our little rack. We've flipped them up because we're going to be gluing the edge grain. You only need to glue one side. Don't put glue on both sides, it's just a waste of glue. It will all squeeze out and it doesn't add anything at all to the strength of the glue up. And Titebond's expensive. So yeah, glue one side. So I'm using sash clamps for this because it's what I have, but you can use any clamps. F clamps, pipe clamps, bar clamps, doesn't matter. As long as you use as many of them as you can. Also have homemade cawls, which is a nice straight piece of wood that I put a bit of masking tape down. Stops it sticking to your workpiece. You put these either side of the workpiece, clamp them down, keeps it nice and flat. So if you've never done a glue up before, you're going to quickly learn that it's the most stressful part of this whole process, as it was for me when I realised I ran out of glue midway through applying it. So yeah, good idea is to check how much glue you have in the bottle before you need to apply it. Note to self. In terms of glue dry up time, depends on environmental factors, how hot it is, how cold it is, how humid it is. But if you're concerned and you want to be safe, not sorry, then good rule of thumb is just let it dry overnight, then you can be sure the glue will have cured. Alternatively, the Titebond website has many very interesting statistics and technical data that I know some of you will love to check out. So visit the Titebond website for more info. So overnight glue up done. Very stormy today, so if you hear rain or wind, we are in a tin container basically. So sorry for that, can't do much about it. Going to take this out the clamps, run it through the table saw, get it down to 31 centimeters wide for the planer, because that's the maximum width I can put through there. Cut it into strips and then start gluing it up again. Apologies for the noise, there's a massive thunderstorm outside. So I've just put pencil marks on the board because I'm going to run it through the planer, and the pencil marks allow you to see easily when everything's been planed off evenly, otherwise it's quite hard to tell. So I've just run the board through the planer one side, and I have this little planer bed that I've made myself, and the point of that is it helps eliminate snipe. The snipe is at the beginning and end of the board. There's sometimes a groove taken out. As you can see here, that's really pretty good. So yeah, on these lunchbox planers, if you have one like me, it's worth making one of these little planer beds. Doesn't take very long, isn't very expensive. It helps a lot. It means you don't waste hardly any wood at all. Because if you've got snipe, you're going to have to cut it off. So you are going to waste. So now we've run it through the planer, both sides nice and flat, ready for next stage, which is cutting it into 5cm strips, which we're going to flip over, facing the end grain up, glue back together again. Let's do it. So I've cut all the bits into 5cm strips, back to the glue up station, clamp them up, come back tomorrow, ready for the next bit of planing. So, in case anyone's wondering why end grain cutting boards cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars, as you can see the process is long and it uses a lot more wood. So when I lay it all out side to side, it looks tiny as a board, but when for glue, look at the size of that for the glue up, big. Then when we flip it over, it's going to be thick and chunky. So we're back in the workshop this morning. It's another night of gluing up. The end grain is ready. We're going to take it out the clamps, scrape it down, Probably have to belt sand it a bit before I put it through the planer. That's okay. I use my DIY scraper that I made out of an old chisel, but you can use a chisel or a plane, whatever you've got to hand to clean it up. So I sanded down, there's quite a few different levels here. I don't know what happened, but woodworking, lots of mistakes happen. You have to know how to fix them. So my efforts to do that involve belt sanding it a bit flatter. I'm going to glue on some offcuts to the edge here, and then I'm going to run it through the planer. The reason I'm gluing these on is to avoid chip out, or at least minimise the chances of it. So I'm going to hot glue them on, and then I'm going to level it up with a wedge, just to make sure there's no tipping when I put it through the planer, and then we should be good to go. Nice small passes. Happy days. So I've glued the sacrificial strips on with the hot glue gun. Hot glue gun's an amazing tool. Every workshop should have one. And I don't actually need to do any wedging now, because when I glued on the sacrificial strips, it worked as a leveler. So I'm going to run this through the planer now, nice and flat. Take it easy, very slowly, so you don't see me crying in the next 5 minutes. All will be well. Here goes. So it's come out of the planer, it's nice and flat now. I find that's much faster than trying to set up a router and a jig to flatten. There is the risk of it chipping out, but like I say, if you're careful and do shallow passes and glue on sacrificial pieces to the front and end, you shouldn't have a problem. And it's certainly a lot faster than doing the router jig, belt sander, orbital sander, whatever else, hand planer. So now I'm going to take it, run it through the table saw just to straighten these edges out. So I've put a bit of masking tape on here to mark out where I'm going to put the handles. I'm trying something different. I usually use a coving bit and dig out a section here, but I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to use one of these bits. I have no idea what that's called, doesn't really matter. You'll see what it does in a minute. So masking tape is quite good at minimising chip out when you're using blades. As you can see here, see this edge, loads of chip out. Where there's no masking tape, where there's masking tape, look at that, big difference, eh? Just from some tape. So I'm just going to curve these sharp corners. What I tend to do is use one of these little, I don't know what they're called, use them at school I think. Whack it on there, draw the curve, and then I'm going to sand it off, because this is quite hard to use a jigsaw on. It's 5 cm thick. So the belt sander works pretty well actually. I'll do that on all of them. Flip it over and then get sanding. So I curve the corners because it appeals to me. Nothing says you have to do that. As Bob Ross says, this is your world and you can do whatever you like. I put these handles as an experiment. I've never done it that way before. I normally use a cove bit down the center. Either works fine, because the advantage of handles like that is you can flip the board over, use it both sides. Same reason I don't use feet, because if you put feet on, then you can only use the board on one side. Now, next stage, oiling your board. So don't use olive oil, vegetable oil or anything like that, because it goes rancid. What you want to do is have a blend of beeswax and food safe mineral oil. Or if you're vegan, just use the mineral oil. And you'll need to apply this every couple of months to keep your board in tip-top condition. And it's also best when you're applying the oil to let the board dry on its side, because apparently that stops it from warping. If you find this content in any way helpful, useful or entertaining, please consider clicking the subscribe button below. And if I've forgotten anything, I don't think I have, but I'm sure some of you eagle eyes out there will have spotted a thing or two, please let me know in the comments below. We really appreciate your feedback. And thank you for watching.